selling homes, sometimes sight unseen to people in Ontario and BC. The license plates are everywhere when I drive around Calgary. And all these new people here means there's been a corresponding strain on healthcare, roads, schools, and rental availability. In late 2023 and early this year, Daniel Smith talked about how the province's 5 million people could double to 10 million people before 2050. And this was great for the economy and also Alberta's political status within the country. So expect this issue to be a concern and a priority for Daniel Smith. And it's going to change her messaging on this very much. When I asked her about the extraordinary population growth in the province about 11 months ago, or 12 months ago in December, she talked about getting newcomers to move to smaller centers and building commuter rail right here. All those things are still possible, but I do expect a different answer now or soon from the Premier on the issue of growth.
What about Edmonton? Going to the moon. Edmonton is firing off. I was at a housing symposium here a year ago exactly, and I titled my presentation, "You're Next." Edmonton's a hell of a lot more affordable than Calgary. Inventory in Edmonton, down. Lowest level since 2006-07. I don't know if you guys were around in 2006-07 where prices doubled in the space of a year. Yeah. So this is the first time you've been back in that position. Not quite there yet, but closest you've been in 20 years. And months of inventory in Edmonton, back down below into that seller's market zone. First time since 2006-07. Prices obviously up in Edmonton. As of October, the first time it's ever passed $400,000 in Edmonton was just last Friday. And it's gonna keep going. And you can see like on a month-over-month basis, it's pretty steady, right?
Changed it so that I believe on an average home price of $450,000, it would be a $900 transfer. In Saskatchewan, as you remember, they went to a private sector model. We contemplated doing that, and they're paying $2,000 for a transfer on a similar value property. So we are still 47% below the next closest jurisdiction. We want to maintain low rates, but we also think that we have to be able to deliver the service, and that requires some significant upgrades that we're going to need to implement over the next 2 or 3 years. So I hope that you see that the value proposition is there, that for those dollars going into that kind of upgrade to be able to get the better service, I think it's just going to make it easier for you guys to do the work you need to do.
Daniel Smith, where I think she's at, and you want to actually use this as a shoehorn to an Alberta pension plan, you start talking about systemic issues, larger failures, structural issues, the investment product, the investment strategy, other things that lead you to the door of a separated Alberta pension using Stephen Harper as your mouthpiece. That is ultimately where you have to make a decision, which is, do you believe Corey's road, that is just about stability and getting us back to reasonable returns at a time of frothy growth, where Alberta and their pensions, especially within AIMCO, have not been receiving those returns? Or do you believe my track, that this is a gateway to the Alberta pension plan, and that really depends on where Daniel's been.
Who's going to say this is going to break up the country if the chair is the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister of this country?
You know, declaratively, Republican policy and politics isn't anymore. Trump's economic plan and the campaign that he just successfully prosecuted was about tariffs. For the last number of decades, the reliably free trade advocating Republican Party was on that side of that equation, free and fair trade, and you know, that was to the benefit of us. We've got first the Canada-U.S. free trade deal between Mulroney and Reagan, and and then NAFTA between Bush and Mulroney as well. And now you see their economic policies having very little to do with what would have been fundamental Republican principles. Because the shift hasn't been, I don't think, to the right in the traditional sense, Tim. We talked about it this last night, I think, a little bit. The shift has been to populist conservative policies and ideas